Brothers and sisters, we are privileged that today before us is Brother N.C. Ramanujachari ji, who is Dr. N.C. Ramanujachari. He is a ardent speaker and a national lecturer for a very long time. So we know his name. We have heard them so many times. And again, there is no need of any description for such personality like Ramanujachari ji. So without wasting time, I request Brother N.C. Ramanujachari ji to start his talk. Is on prime for popularization of theosophy. Brother N.C. Ramanujachari ji, please.
Yes, thank you, brother. Good afternoon, and my best wishes to all members of the Delhi Philosophical Federation. Today, I thought I would share some of my thoughts on the responsibilities of a member of the Theosophical Society. In other words, prime for popularization of theosophy. Being members of the Theosophical Society, it is implied that it is our job to popularize the theosophical knowledge or wisdom, whatever we may call it. So how do we do it? That is the basic question. I want to share my thoughts on that point with all my brothers here. Now, how do we come into the society at all? We hear a lecture somewhere, or we hear we read some article in a newspaper, or we may read a book about it, or one of our relatives, particularly parents, may be members of the society, and seeing their life, we thought it is also worthwhile joining the society. These are some of the ways how we come. But having come inside, what do we do? That is the point. Now, the point I want to make clear is signing the application form, accepting the declared objects, and paying the annual fees every year meticulously and religiously will not make us a full theosophist. We may be a member of the Theosophical Society, but we will not become the the exponents of theosophy. Our basic work is to popularize the theosophical knowledge among the public. And to popularize it, it is necessary that we should know what it is, because we can never communicate to others what we do not have. We have primary sources of theosophical knowledge or wisdom in two ways. One is Mahatma's letters, and the second is writings of Madame Blavatsky. There are many writers and writers after her, but I must tell you that all those writers are only commentarial of the Blavatskyan thought. The original thought of theosophical knowledge or wisdom is communicated by Madame Blavatsky, who was taught by her spiritual teachers. Having mentioned the name of the masters in the beginning, I must also tell you how we should use the names of the masters and how not to use them. The masters are the real founders of the Theosophical Society. We know that when we go deep into the down their name and talk too much about it makes the whole thing authoritative. We are a secular body, but not a sectarian body. That's what we should remember. Here in the Theosophical Society, we gather round the principles. We do not gather round the persons. Masters in the early days have very clearly said, use the information given by us. You write your own articles. You try to spread the knowledge to everybody. It is your job. We give the abstract truths, and it is for you to bring those absolute truths into pragmatic level and influence the masses and intellectual classes. Nowadays, of course, right from the beginning also, it has been the habit in the Theosophical Society among the members to bring down the names of the masters very easily and casually. This is what they do not want us to do. They only say, don't discuss about us. Don't mention our names in public email. Use the knowledge given by us to you and try to popularize those ideas. We are not saying something new. We are only talking the occult science or occultism, if you prefer to call it that way. We are giving down the canons and concepts of the occult science, and we want you to understand them well and then popularize those ideas among the public. And using their names too much also is not beneficial, because they belong to a higher plane of nature, and it requires a lot of energy for them to come down to the level. And every reference to them now, as we talk or as we mention their names, allows them to come down. And this thing, in the olden days, as many of you know, existence of the masters was very commonly discussed. But I would again say there's no point in discussing the point of existence of the masters. Our job is to use the information imparted by them and try to influence the intellectual mass and masses to understand those principles. They very clearly say, we give the abstract principles. It is for you scientists to experiment them, make the rough ashlar a clear ashlar, and present the truth to people. So that is the way I would like to say first. It is not advisable to talk loud about them, because the whole system of philosophy becomes authoritarian. They never say, you believe us. We need not have to believe what they say. They want us to become thinkers of it. The whole purpose of the Theosophical Society is to make man the original thinker. Original thinker means he must be capable of hearing things very well, examining them by himself, and find out what is radical, what is immediately acceptable by him, and if something is not acceptable, keep that thing in suspense so that he comes to a position when it can become acceptable to us. So the whole point is that we have a lot of information given to us through the Mahatma letters, which we have unfortunately with us. I use the word unfortunately deliberately to say that masters never wanted them to be published. They even said, don't publish them. When Sinnett asked them, Sinnett is the person as you must be knowing, who received many of the letters. And he said, I will publish those letters. He was immediately responded to say, don't publish them. You use that information and make books out of that. He made the books Occult World and the Esoteric Theosophy, Esoteric Buddhism, and conveyed many of the instructions given by them in those books. And those books were very popular before Madame Blavatsky was able to produce the books Isis Unveiled and The Secret Doctrine. This is something which we must try to know. Master's letters and the information given by them is the first source of information for us. And the next is Madame Blavatsky's letters. She wrote theosophical literature very abundantly and laboriously. She gave all the doctrines that were given to her by the spiritual teachers and systematized the knowledge. That's why we call her the chief exponent of theosophical philosophy. Now, as I already mentioned, there are many writers and writers later to her, but all those people, all those authors are of commentarial value to the basic truths given out by Madame Blavatsky. So that way, Madame Blavatsky becomes the person who can be relied upon and reflected upon so far as the knowledge is concerned. Then, popularizing the theosophical concepts is very necessary because without popularizing them, there cannot be any growth or expansion. Knowledge is meant for expansion and development. And for that, we have the organization and methodology for that. Apart from the books and lectures which I already mentioned, our living the life is basically necessary for popularizing the theosophical concepts. We must live theosophy. To live that, we must understand that well. The basic documents are there and they are in public domain, and we are free to access them and know what is theosophical knowledge as such. We have the 7 manuals written by Dr. Besant and Leadbeater, talking about the 7 principles of man and his bodies, and higher planes of nature and all that. But before that, we have the 3 objects before us. The first object is universal brotherhood of humanity, as we very readily say. Whenever you ask anybody what is the first object, he necessarily says universal brotherhood. But my submission is, the first object is not that. First object is to form a nucleus. To form a nucleus is the first object. Nucleus of what? Universal brotherhood of humanity without any distinction whatsoever. Sex, caste, race are the various distinctions given therein. But there are many more, including the language, that make us distinct and different and separate. That's why I mention it. Universal knowledge, universal brotherhood of humanity without any distinction whatsoever. This is a natural law. When the object was first introduced by the Theosophical Society, people started laughing at it. How can all races be one? How can all castes be one? How can all sexes be one? There is difference, nature. Difference is the natural law, not the universal brotherhood. But it took a lot of time for her through the theosophical literature and other means of propagation to bring down that point to the acceptance of everybody. Today, you find every organization very literally following this concept of brotherhood of humanity as their object. Everybody has accepted the point as a principle. But the point is, Theosophical Society says acceptance in principle or by theory or in words is not enough. You must practice it. Are we able to practice brotherhood at all costs, even at the peril of our life? That is the question we have to put to ourselves. There are distinctions. We must know why those distinctions are there and how the distinctions or differences are only man-made for administrative conveniences. There is only one life, one world, one globe, one planet as everybody accepts today. But the one appears in many forms and many letters and many symbols. So, going back to the original idea of unity is very necessary, and the concept of unity, if it is understood, it will be possible for us to accept and practice the formation of nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity. The point I'm trying to make is to form a nucleus. We, as members of the Theosophical Society, are the nucleus of that. And we try to spread that nucleus far and wide by our work, by our words, by our actions, by our feelings, by our thoughts, and by our propagation of the concepts. Unless the concept has become widely circulated and practiced, pragmatically achieved by everybody, there is no universal brotherhood. Brotherhood, as you see the word, is also inclusive of otherhood. You see the point. Brotherhood includes otherhood. Unless you add bro to that, bro is the abbreviation of Brahma, according to me. If you add Brahma to otherhood, he becomes your brother. So that way, we have to try to influence the people by our language and sequence of the lettering, words, and all that. And then accepting the universal brotherhood of humanity at all costs is the first object of the society. Nowadays, we say, you don't bother about the three objects. If you accept the first object, that's enough for you to become a member of the society. Of course, that one point of view that may be right, but that's very narrow. Unless you accept the other two objects also, you cannot be a full exponent of the theosophical knowledge. Now come to the second object. It encourages the study. The second object, as I said, is to encourage the study. Study of what? Comparative religion, science, and philosophy. Study of comparative religion is not just tabulating the rules of different religions and seeing the similarities and dissimilarities. Comparative religion implies the understanding that all the religions have come from one source, and that source is the occult science or occultism or absolute knowledge which is imbibed in the whole of the universe or globe, as we may call. comparative religion must indicate that all religions in the world that are available and that may come up in future too are rooted in the occult science. The same source. There may be momentarily and contextually differences in the customs and usages of the religions, but basically the basic principles of all religions are one and the same. And the Theosophical Society has done a lot of work the world over to combat this point. You know, Cardinal Alcott gave a lot of lectures on the oneness of all religions, unity of all religions. And Dr. Besant explained the canons of every religion in her book, The Seven Religions of the World. And she had independent books on each religion, drawing out the similarities, dissimilarities, and their getting rooted in the occult science and ultimately becoming one with the absolute. And then the third object is very meticulous. It tried to explain the unexplained laws of nature and latent powers in man. I may here try to tell you that when the society was started in 1875, there was only one object. There are no three objects, as we study now. And that object is to gather the knowledge of the laws governing the universe and popularize them. That's the sole object of the Theosophical Society, according to the original constitution of 1875. For various reasons, because the wider application of the Theosophical principles all over the world, in all nations, and in all parts of the globe, the object has become threefold now. Of course, there are three declared objects, and there are many undeclared objects also. As I said in the beginning, the object of the Theosophical Society is to make man an original thinker. And then it is also his job to combat scientific dogmatism and religious orthodoxy. As we said, the religions have come from the same root, but in the custom and usage, when the mind, human mind also introduced interpreting the rules in its own way, there are various paths and different schools of thought that have come in philosophy as well as religion. But considering them at the source, we see that they are from the same science, the occult science or occultism, as we say. Now, the whole point is, do we believe that there are latent powers in man? Man has got intelligence, we know. Man has got common sense. Man has got intuition. He has got vision. He has got many other things. And all men are not equal in intelligence or senses and understanding. So, how to relate this? How to examine that? First, we must try to tell people that there are latent powers in us. And those powers are there without our knowing about them. And we have the capacity to unfold all those powers and try to see that the man has got the same powers as the whole cosmos has. That is the beauty of unexplained laws of nature and latent powers in man, who have a mind. Man is not just a body, physical body as we see. He has got a mind, and he has got super mind. He has got intuition. He has got a vision. He has got thinking, rethinking. He is able to view things. He is able to review what he has seen. He is able to form and he is able to reform. So all these are his powers. Man has got all these powers, and he has also the power to investigate into the latent powers of man and make them his own. They call by the name siddhis, or superficial powers, superhuman powers in India. And those powers are drawn from the laws of the nature, because the man is made in the model of the cosmos itself. Cosmos and man are one and the same. It's only a difference in degree. That's what the third object very clearly says. And coming back to the second object again, why science, philosophy, and religion? Because all human knowledge, or the knowledge which a human person can achieve, can be in many disciplines, but they dovetail into these three subjects: science, philosophy, and religion. And for a long time, man tried to see science and religion as diametrically opposite to each other. The first lesson, Madame Blavatsky, was taught by the Oriental philosophers, her teachers. As she explained in her book, Isis Unveiled, is don't look at science and religion as separate. They are one and the same. Unless you study both together, you cannot understand the concept of God, concept of the universe, concept of the occult sciences and all. So, try to see science and religion together, study them together, and find out the truth. And philosophy, science, and religion are the three streamlines to get to the truth. Truth or Satya, as we call it in India. Satyat na asti parotma is the emblem of the Theosophical Society, as we well know. Satyat na asti parotharma. There is no law higher than truth. That was the original translation of the term. But later it was moved as there is no religion higher than truth. Which means religion is the law. Religion, dharma, philosophy, science, whatever we may call by different names, all that drives us to that one thing or one life of the absolute or the universe. That is what we have to realize before doing that, before trying to understand that. And then I mentioned about the 7 principles of man. There are 7 manuals written by them. And the first book is 7 Principles of Man, which explains man is not just his physical body. He has got 7 tattvas within him, right from the physical body up to the Atma. All the 7 put together are within him, and with him they are available to him, and he is capable of working through all these things if he gains that knowledge about that. If he cultures himself, if he nurtures himself with all the bodies, it will be possible for him to do that. Man and his bodies is another book of the 7 Cities, which very clearly says the identity of the 7 bodies which we have and their correlationship with the 7 principles we already have. How to correlate the 7 principles and the 7 bodies and understand them together. Unless we coordinate the tattvas and koshas, bodies are known as koshas in India. Tattvas are principles. Principles and bodies, tattvas and koshas, they work together. And unless we know the working together of these things, it will not be possible for us to understand the theosophical concept. Understanding the concept is always threefold again. First is textual understanding. We read the text, we try to understand it verbally. Textual understanding is all right, it is very necessary, but that's not enough. We must also contextually understand it. Unless we know the context in which it is said, it will not be possible for us to know the real spirit of it. And then sometimes even the context is also not enough, not adequate. You must know the conceptual understanding also. Textual understanding, contextual understanding, and conceptual understanding. All these three should go together. Unless we do all these things together, we cannot be able to understand the theosophical principles for our lives. And as I said already, unless we understand, we will not be able to popularize them. And there are 3 objects, and there are 3 propositions made by Madame Blavatsky in her book, The Secret Doctrine. And there are 3 eternal truths given to us in one of the theosophical books, Light on the Path. The student or the member of the Theosophical Society should also try to correlate the 3 objects, 3 eternal truths, and 3 fundamental propositions for a clear understanding of the concept and all that. And apart from these books which I already mentioned, I would recommend every member to be thorough with the knowledge of the Key to Theosophy. Key to Theosophy is the book written by Madame Blavatsky just 2 years before her passing away. And that book gives the elementary principles on purpose of the man, purpose of the organization, correlation between the bodies, and teaching about the masters, teaching about the life, and teaching about the living and all. All these things are very clearly mentioned in that book. You may not read many books. There are books and books, as I said. There are authors and authors. We may not be able to read all of them, but read the Key to Theosophy to start with. Then you will come to know the basic concepts of the theosophical philosophy. And when you ruminate about them, reflect about them, and make them your own, you will be able to popularize the theosophical concepts. Now, understanding the theosophical principles by our actions, by our feelings, is very necessary. By our thought, it is necessary. Because unless the thought propels us, we will not be able to act, we will not be able to feel, we will not be able to talk or say anything to anybody. So the mind, its modifications must be understood by all of us. What is the mind? Is it the body or the mind that is working in me? That's the basic question which a member has to question for himself. Body is all right for action, but for thought, mind is necessary. Body and mind work together. Body and mind work. Mind propels the senses of the body, and it makes us feel, act, and perform. And there is something beyond the mind also. And we must be capable of touching that mind. Mind, as we know, is divided into two segments. They call it lower mind and higher mind. Lower mind is very passionate. It has got very desires and aspirations, whereas the higher mind is nobler and gentler and moving towards intelligence or buddhi or the Atma. So, it is now common knowledge because of the propagation of Theosophical literature all these 140 years through the Theosophical literature, Theosophical organizations, and many more organizations that have come out as offshoots of the Theosophical Society, copying that philosophy and making it their own and popularizing it and trying to correlate the various religions and all that. We have numerous organizations in the world today popularizing the Theosophical thoughts. We must try to correlate them. Now, Theosophy, through the masters and Madame Blavatsky, has given the elementary teachings of occult science. And these teachings are imbibed by various people in the world, and they started writing their own books and make their own organizations and spreading far and wide. That way, for the new age of thought, Theosophical Society and its literature has become the pioneer. In fact, Madame Blavatsky has opened a new continent of thought by her writings and lectures. The new concept of thought is opened by her, and it is for us to understand that and popularize it very well. Now, Madame Blavatsky never said, believe me, think that what I say alone is true. No, you need not think like that. You see how best you can understand the things. You can correlate yourself. Is the teaching ringing true to you? The teaching may be very great. It may be given by a great prophet, very great book, worldwide honored and all that. But is it really ringing true to me? Am I capable of understanding and reflecting upon it? That is unless it rings true to me, it's not real to me. Otherwise, it becomes only bookish knowledge, or panditya as we call in India. Panditya by itself is of no use. Panditya must also become practice. Precept has to become the practice. In India, there are three terms, Sravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Meaning, hearing what is said in the scriptures, books. And then, Manana is the reflection of what you have thought about. And Nididhyasana is the practice. Unless the precept learnt is practiced by us, it has no value. You cannot talk one thing and do some other thing. There should be no dichotomy between belief and behavior. And there should not be no dichotomy between promise and performance. We must be able to perform what we believe, what we precept. And that way only we will be able to popularize philosophical concepts. The concepts are many. For example, karma, reincarnation, life after death, about the universes and all that. The knowledge given by the theosophical literature is abundant. it starts with unmanifestation and goes down to manifestation and goes down to lower kingdoms and very deep into the Patala also, if I may say. There are 7 lokas and 7 talas. All that knowledge and knowledge about the beings that are available there and the knowledge how the worlds are formed, how the universes are made up, and what is the purpose of those things, all that is explained in the Theosophical literature. One may not be able to interest himself in all these things. One may not bother about the creation of the universe. But once created, once becoming a man, I must know what I am to do, what I am to propagate, what I am to perform, and how best I can do the thing to the advantage of the world. And as I said, the purpose of the Theosophical Society and the member of the society is to live to benefit the humanity. Live to benefit humanity. Humanity does not mean just a human kingdom. All the lower kingdoms are also part of humanity. Humanity, in other words, consists of the whole of manifestation, Srishti as we call in India. All the kingdoms, vegetable, mineral, animal, human, superhuman, all these things are part of the humanity. And we must be able to act in such a way that we benefit the humanity at every time by our thought and all. We learn about our mind and we call it the thinking principle. By that principle, you can go up to the Atma or go down to the earlier incarnations of the animal or mineral. But the point is, unless you combine the mind, buddhi and Atma, you are not the total man. The real man is not the physical body, he is not the mind, he is the mind, buddhi and Atma. MBA or ABM, if you want to come down from top. MBA stands for Business Administration. Every man is a master of the business administration. In other words, he is an embodiment of mind, buddhi, and Atma. And he has got the capacity, as we already said, to unfold all these qualities within himself, culture himself, nourish them, make his bodies polished, and become eligible to travel in all the planes of nature. Again, going to the planes of nature, we are told that there are 7 planes of nature. This is all common knowledge today. We need not have to harp on it very greatly. Om Bhuva Shuvaha Maha Jana Tapaha Satyaha. All these 7 names are known to everybody. 7 planes of nature, 7 subplanes, and 7 ways of dealing with it, 7 rays coming out, and 7 types of hierarchies. All this knowledge is available to us, and it is accessible for us, provided we have the right will to understand everything. So, the purpose of the membership of the Theosophical Society, as we said in the beginning, is not just paying your annual fees and calling yourself a member of the Theosophical Society. It is the living theosophy that is what is needed. We must live that theosophy in our word, thought, and action. If we live it, it will get radiated to the whole environment we move about. It radiates from us all the time. That radiation of theosophy is what we are supposed to do. Madam Blavatsky, in her book Key to Theosophy, which I mentioned already, says there are 5 ways how a member can help the organization expand and develop in its basic work. Talk to others about the basic principles of theosophy. Try to tell them. And there is a lot of wrong talk about theosophy. Try to help people to remove that wrongness and tell them the right attitudes of theosophy and all. And try to popularize the theosophical literature and try to live it. Living theosophy by oneself is the best way she recommends to do that. And there are, as I said, there are books and books on that. I will quote only 3 things which every member of the society, every person who wants to be an exponent of theosophical literature must read. Mahasuhantrayatan is one thing. It gives the basic purpose of theosophy and the work of the theosophical. And then there is a booklet by name Original Program of the Theosophical Society from Dr. Madam Blavatsky. Original Program of the Theosophical Society and Mahachohan's letter. And there is one letter of 1900 from a master to Dr. Besant. All these 3 are available in the theosophical literature and they are in public domain. I recommend that every member goes through these 3 documents and try to know for himself what he can do to popularize the theosophical concept effectively and efficiently. Popularizing is not just repeating the names. As we said, repeating the name of Madam Blavatsky and Dr. Besant or the masters for that matter will not become popularizing them. Popularize the thought, popularize the principles, popularize the doctrines or siddhantas of the theosophical knowledge and wisdom. And that will be the right thing to do. As I said already, to popularize, we must first know those things. That is why a member has got a responsibility to know for himself all these things, though not in greater depth, but in the surface, so that he can talk to others and try to radiate the ideas of the theosophical knowledge. This is what every person can do, and this is what every person is attempting to do. And Madam Blavatsky, apart from many other things, very clearly said make the brink. I made a link between the occult science and the theosophical knowledge. I popularized the theosophical concepts through my literature. And I made a link. And each member should see that the link is not broken. That's the least we can do. He made a link between us, between the world and the occult wisdom. And we must popularize that link, we must strengthen that, we must develop that, we must see that the link is not broken. That will be the minimum that can we do. So summing up, it comes to that a member is not just a member, but he is a thinker. Unless he is a thinker, unless he is very alert in his mind, he cannot understand the deeper objects of the theosophical philosophy. Madam Blavatsky, in her preface to the book Key to Theosophy itself, she said, Theosophy is a riddle for the man who is idle, mentally idle. She even mentioned at some point there are growths of theosophy, growths of theosophy. They just name themselves theosophists, do not do anything at all. They don't live it, they won't propagate it. For the person who is not alert in his mind, who is not capable of reflecting for himself and trying to read in between the words, theosophy will become abstruse. So one has to study a lot, study and reflect and try to make the concepts his own. As I said, textual, contextual, and conceptual understanding must be developed thoroughly and methodically, and one must be competent to explain the concepts to a layman in simple terms, in common knowledge. See, the whole point is the purpose of the Theosophical Society is to make the divine wisdom the common wisdom. Divine sense, the common sense. All the knowledge about the divinity or divine wisdom or theosophy or truth, as we call it, must become the common knowledge of everybody. Unless it becomes the common knowledge, we cannot make the world the divine place. The humanity and the divinity have got a constant link. Unless the whole of humanity is divine, the purpose of the theosophical philosophy is not fulfilled. So our basic work is to divinize the humanity through the basic principle of universal brotherhood of humanity without a distinction whatsoever, through all the channels which we try to discuss all this time, and do our best according to our knowledge and understanding, to the best of our knowledge. And one may not be a great scholar, one may not be a great scholar, great pundit. Now today, a person repeating the Sanskrit slokas is considered to be a scholar. But that's not the real scholarship. Scholarship is translating the wisdom into practice. So let us try to be theosophists in the full sense of the term. I thank the leaders all this time for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with you this afternoon. And I thank you profoundly and see to many opportunities of talking to you again and again. In the previous talks, I heard the people are more interested in meditation and yoga. True, the whole world is interested in meditation and yoga. But what are the prerequisites of meditation? Unless we know the prerequisites and the real meaning of meditation, there is no point in contemplating on that. At an opportunity in future times, I would like to tell you the rudiments of meditation and invite you with the introduction to meditation. As I said, there are books and books. For example, Key to Theosophy is the basic book. This is a book, epitome of Key to Theosophy. And again, there is another book, My Name in the World of Magic, a commentary on an introductory book on Isis Unveiled. Similarly, we have an introductory book on Secret Doctrine also. In the Secret Doctrine, introductory book is available. I think I'm sure these books are all available in your library, and you own them. It is better you own them, your own copies, and read them thoroughly and well. I am not trying to popularize my publication, but I am only telling you all these are available, and they are written in the modern language, a readable language, not with any technological terms to become a burden for the study. So thank you once again, and
Thank you, Brother Ramanujachari ji. We are very delighted to hear you, your powerful and wise
I think
words.
it's not too abstruse. I think it's
Hello.
not too difficult.
No, too difficult. I mean, it's
Because we are here to do difficult things. That's always my point. We are not here to do easy things. We have to find out the difficulty and solve it.
and
Theosophy and theosophical literature has got solution for all human problems.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's no philosophy at all. We must try to understand that.
Yes.
Thank you for the comment.
Now we request other brothers, if anybody want to say some question or have something to talk with our brother N.C. Ramanujachari ji, please.
All right. Welcome.
Hello. If
Yes.
somebody to say something, brother, please. Let's say if somebody wants to have some question or want to some talk something with you, let's invite other brothers. Hello.
No, the question is not clear to me. Can you repeat it?
I'm saying I am requesting other brothers who are with us. If anybody want to say something or have any
Yes,
question,
they are welcome.
so that way,
Because it's only by their questioning I learn.
yeah. That's why
I don't claim to be a scholar. I'm a student of theosophy.
राजीव जी एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहता था, पूछ सकता हूँ?
Okay.
I think he has left. Brother Nayyar, you want to ask something?
I'm happy to meet Dr. Ramanujachari again.
Yes.
Brother Nayyar just commented that he was happy to hear you and see you. He's from Kerala.
No, I am not able to get the question.
There was no question. It was just a comment that he was.
What is the comment?
Yes. Now, brother Taral Munshi, please ask your question.
Yeah. जी. I just wanted to ask that today it was popularization of theosophy, correct? So,
Yes.
what can we do in today's terms to popularize it? Of course, you have raised many points and many guidance you have given, but to popularize theosophy means that we have to reach general people other than members. So how
There is no other go. We have to leave it.
Ji?
We have to set an example, though nobody takes an example.
No. What I mean to say is that by the means of something or some book or some practical theosophy thing, can we reach to the people who doesn't know theosophy at all? They are very new to things. So, what is there
We
any?
have to educate them. We have to inform them and educate them. See, we have many preliminary pamphlets to educate them. Suppose you look to the website of Indian section.
Ji.
On the website of Indian section, I wrote many articles on preliminary theosophy. One can go through them.
Okay, I will go through them and then revert. Thank you so
You
much.
are aware that Indian section has got a web?
Ji?
He's aware of the website. He's aware. Taruji, are you aware of the website?
Yes.
Yeah, I am aware of that. I will go there.
You kindly look for study material there. You will find all these things. Even some articles on approach to study secret doctrine are also there.
Okay, sir.
There are many useful articles
go.
on that.
माथुर
Sure,
साहब
sure.
मैं माथुर साहब कुछ निवेदन करूं माथुर साहब हेलो हेलो
हाँ त्रिभुवन जी बोलिए प्लीज बोलिए।
हाँ जी
बोलिए।
मैं हिंदी में बोलूंगा और रामानुजाचार्य जी से मेरा निवेदन है कि जब हम टीओएस के काम अपने इलाके में करते हैं तो अपने आप लोग पूछते हैं कि ये कौन सी संस्था है और इसका काफ़ी इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है। तो टीओएस के कामों को जितना भी हम बढ़ाते हैं तो उससे आम लोगों में बढ़ता है कि ये कौन सी संस्था है और वो पता करते हैं, वो जानते हैं कि थियोसफी है। मुझे लगता है ये ज़्यादा बेहतर तरीका है पॉपुलराइज करने का, टीओएस के जरिए लोगों की सेवा की जाए। It's okay.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Brother Ramanujacharya ji, did you understand what he was trying to say?
Yes. What is the comment?
Brother, he is saying that apart from pamphlets, books, and other things to popularize, working as member of TOS, Theosophical Order of Service, that itself also leads to propagation of theosophy.
No, the question is not clear to me.
No, it was a comment. It was a comment that in the popularization of
What is the comment?
Comment is that the TOS, Theosophical Order of Service, is also
Yes, that is one.
Yes,
That is one way of service.
that is right, sir.
See, as we say in philosophy, study, meditation, and service. These three are requirements of every member of the TS. Every day he must study something. Study does not mean books. Study the life around you. Reflect upon it. Serve the others. TOS is the organization specially interested for those people who can serve the ailing humanity. There is suffering in the world, and that suffering can be reduced by equipping more knowledge into them, materially and immaterially. TOS is one of our organizations doing that job very effectively.
जी
त्रिभुवन जी, मैं आपसे ये गुजारिश करना चाहूंगा कि आप टीओएस में क्या करते हैं कुछ हमें भी बताइएगा। भले वो हम अलग से वार्तालाप कर लेंगे। राजीव भाई आप करवा दीजिएगा।
मेरा लिंक राजीव जी दे देंगे आपको लिंक। मैं आपको बताता हूँ। ठीक है राजीव जी, मेरा लिंक दे देंगे आप।
ठीक है।
हाँ किया।
Any other brother wants to ask a question or comment or specifically on what today's talk was? Brother Ramanujacharya ji, the Secret Doctrine itself is a very, not an easy book to read, and many books have been written on how to approach
No,
it.
no, you go through my book, Awakening to Truth.
So, from where can we get it? Because in this COVID time,
In your library, you have that. I left some copies last time when I came there.
yes, brother, but
Ah,
we have members from all over India. How do they get it?
No, you write to me, I will send you a copy.
The soft copy, can we have soft copy, please?
So it is also available on the web.
Okay, okay. Web
Some
means-
Russian web by name Narod or something is there. Suppose you get this book, Awakening to Truth, and ask for it, they will tell you.
Mhm. You may send us link. We'll see and circular it to other members, please.
Yes.
Because nowadays everybody wants on web. So I mean, web copy or some.
Web copy can be there. It is there. It is available on web.
Yeah.
Many of my books are available on web.
Yeah. We'll see and we just check it out. Okay.
I
If you have
will
link,
search for it.
if you have
And
link,
some books, Esoteric Philosophy is another channel.
right?
Esoteric Philosophy has digitized 2 or 3 of my books.
Nice. Okay.
For example, Humanity and Divinity.
Okay. Humanity and divinity. Right.
That is available on the web, Theosophy Online or Esoteric Philosophy.
Okay, sir. You please send us a link if it is available. We'll check it and send it to other person.
Right.
So
That will
any-
be great, bhai. That will be great.
No, I have already, I have got the link, as brother said. I will just mention it in the chat, and we can access it. hpb.narod.ru is the uh, link, is the website.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So one can go through that or search on the website is narod.ru, and one can search the
Yes,
different books.
it's a Russian web.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody is complimenting me that Russia has chosen to put that book on their web.
Very nice, sir.
Yeah, I've
You see,
already-
Madam
yes.
Blavatsky is from Russia.
I just logged in, and the title is very interesting. Of the Welcome to the Nonsense Station. That's what the title is.
No, brother, you just type in the Google search Awakening to the Truth and narod.ru. That is all. And you'll open up the.
I
Yes,
got approach on a series by Dr. Ramanujacharya.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
And you can even use my name on the web. That will show the whole material that's available in my name.
Sure, sir.
You
Sure.
can just NC Ramanujacharya on the web.
Yeah.
That will give you
It's all there.
the whole history. Sometimes I get material which I have not written.
Very true, sir. Very.
Thanks to you, sir. All the 3 approaches was the path I was seeking. Thank you, Rajiv bhai.
Thank you.
And thank you, sir.
Right.
So, Mathuji, let us close with the thanks and for the next. Also, please announce the next meeting also.
Yes.
हाँ माथुर साहब काफी अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा था. इनको थैंक्स पहुंचा दें हमारा. बहुत अच्छी तरह से इन्होंने थियोसफी की सॉल को क्लियर किया है. हमारा थैंक्स इनको पहुंचा दें.
ठीक है, सर.
Thank you, Bhatnagar.
हाँ नमस्कार.
So we were hearing Dr. Ramanujacharya ji he has made very, very clear how to popularize the theosophy. That's what he's saying. First, make it a practical in our life, and in not only a member of Theosophical Society, but we have to be a theosophist in true sense. For that, he has given so many guidelines, so many books. He has said one book, if he said, it's Key to Theosophy, which gives the entire theosophical knowledge as given by the HPB. And he has mentioned 7 manuals, treaties, and everything. So everybody um, says thanks to you, and we are glad to hear you again in the future. So thank you, Brother Ramanujachari ji.
Thank you, sir. I must thank you because you allowed me to talk to people.
No, sir. We are grateful to you again and again. We must say because our next talk will be of Brother U.S. Pandey on dates will be 17th and 24th. On the topic will be Voice of the Silence.
Yes.
So one thing more, I'll say to our hearers and all the members who are joining that in our channel we can see those who have missed today's talk to an extent or have late joined can also see, because the Delhi Theosophy channel is the name of our and YouTube anybody can access anytime, and link also we will send. Thank you, brother. So we are closing with the prayer.
Yes.
Asato ma sadgame, tamso ma jyotirgame,
तमसो माँ ज्योतिर्गमय
मृत्यो ma mritangmay.
मृत्योर्मामृतंगमय
Oh.